let me ask you a question. A simple question that it seems like you should know the answer. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. That's why I have to ask the question. Do you believe that you can be a master creator?
Yes.
You do. Some of you didn't say anything. Maybe you didn't understand the question. Let me ask again. Do you believe that you could be a master creator?
Yes.
I believe that you are a master creator.
Yes.
All right? I ask you these questions because that's my job. My job is to get inside your head and fix it. There's a saying, fix your head with Dr. Ted. That's me. But to get inside your head and actually fix something, you have to first understand that it may not be exactly the way you see it. Things may be different in there. Things may be different with what you believe versus what's really transpiring in your lives right now. Would you agree with me on that? Let me see your hand. Yes? You'd agree with me on that. Okay? So what did I say when I just said that? I said there may be things going on inside your head that are different, that are actually manifesting in your body and in your life. Correct?
Yes.
That's a little frustrating, isn't it? And you wonder why. Yes? Okay. Well, once we begin to address what the little records are that are playing inside your head and what you really believe to be true, once we identify what's down inside of your DNA, in your structure, once we begin to understand what that is, oh my gosh, the world opens up. Because until you identify it and then synchronize it into your subconscious mind, it will never, I shouldn't say never, but it will never manifest. And you know this is true. How many of you have had a goal or a dream or something that you would love to have manifest in your life and it just doesn't seem to work out? Let me see. Okay, so give me an example. What's an example? Something, if you don't mind to share. You know, I want to be a little more interactive here and get you guys going. It's after lunch. We've got to make sure we keep the, I'm a doctor, I understand this. You're going to be asleep in about 15 minutes. Please cool it down here. It's not quite cold enough yet. So, would you mind to share? What's your name? Gina. Gina. What in your life has not manifested that you really believe you deserve, you believe you can create?
My own successful business.
A successful business. Okay, so her dream is to create a successful business. Wonderful. Who else? If you don't raise your hand, I'll pick it. Yes, sir?
I've been working on ways to integrate alternative healthcare in the mainstream.
Ways to integrate alternative health care into the mainstream. I might know something about that. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Very good. But that hasn't worked out so far yet for you. Remember, I said, what's your dream that hasn't really manifested yet? A successful business, being able to integrate this. I'm not really sure what that means yet, but I like it. You know, it sounds like we could be on the right path here today.
Well, I tell people I've been spectacularly unsuccessful doing it.
So, yeah, I've been spectacularly unsuccessful doing it this way. But yet, you probably just keep doing it the same way over and over again and don't understand why it doesn't really work out for you. How many are guilty of that? And then we just pray for a different outcome. And then when that doesn't work, we blame God. It's his fault. Or her fault, whatever it might be. We blame. We push the blame off over there, right? Because we don't want to assume responsibility and take responsibility for what it is and what needs to what has to happen in our lives if we're going to go from here over to here, right? Would you all agree with me that when I say we need to go from here over to here, that means something to you in your life, with your relationships, with your health, with your business, with your being successful at not being successful? Okay, so it's how you look at it. Would you all agree with me that we're on the same page when we talk in this type of languaging? Okay, so I'm here to help you manifest things in your life, whether it's a physical malady that you have, something wrong with your physical body, or it's an emotional stress that you're dealing with every day, or it's a relationship that you're dealing with, it's a business that's gone south, whatever the stressor might be, I'm here today to help you understand that it's not clear in your mind what it needs to be. And I'm not talking about this part of your mind. where you think, your conscious thinking brain. Everybody go like this. This is your conscious brain. Okay, it's up here. And this is your subconscious brain down in here. Okay? With me on that? Conscious, come on, work with me here. Conscious, subconscious. Conscious, subconscious. Conscious, conscious. Okay, so here's the problem, and this is what we deal with. You know, I've got an hour to work with you and help you with something. All right? I take days to do this. A typical program, as you're so eloquently mentioned, a typical program for me is like a 3-day training that's going to go all day long and into the evening, training and teaching practitioners how to do this work, and lay people like you that just want to learn how to do it for themselves. Because that's a possibility too. It's all up to you to make decisions about what you want to do with the rest of your life. You just, that's what I do. So I have to boil this down into about an hour. An hour to pique your interest, an hour to help you understand why you have not been as successful in all of these areas that I mentioned, why you haven't been successful yet, if I asked you, you've got a pretty clear picture of what the success would look like. Is that true? Yeah. Sure. It's not like you've just been watching TV all day long and complaining that I'm not successful, or you haven't been actively pursuing this. You said that's one of the reasons that you're here. So obviously you're plugged in and you want to consciously be part of your success pattern, right? Everybody tracking with me so far? Yes. So what I'm saying is, in your conscious mind, you think you got it all figured out. How's that working for you? I'm just asking the question. I got on a plane this morning in Arkansas, and I came out here and I thought, well, let me figure out what we can do out here to help these guys in Salt Lake City. Okay? So in your head up here, there's programs that are running, and I'm sure Eric is going to talk about this all weekend. I know him personally. I know what he's about. I know what his work is. He sent me boxes of these recordings for me to listen to. I understand where you're at. And I understand what you're going to be exposed to this weekend. And I'm here to offer, if this is a big pie we're looking at that you're going to have for the weekend, I'm offering a couple slices of this pie that are going to be very beneficial for you to be able to not only shift the way you're responding to your dreams and goals, but so you can absorb the whole pie. Okay? You started off today with Teachability Index, right? And you understand what that was about, to raise that up so that you are teachable, that you are willing to change and accept new ideas and move forward and lean into it. You've got to be teachable. You have to build your foundation, in my opinion. As you said, we've taught over 1,688 seminars. This would be 89 training. 1,600, do the math. It's a lot. American Airlines loves me. So what I'm saying is, this, as they say in Texas, this ain't my first rodeo. All right? I know what it's going to take to get you to move forward with this. The first concept I'm talking about is the disconnect between the conscious and the subconscious brain. Period. It's a disconnect. Everybody say that with me. Disconnect. Look at somebody beside you, say disconnect. Disconnect. Not your wife. Don't say that to your wife. Or your husband. They might get the wrong impression of what I'm talking about here. Okay? So what I'm saying is that we have to connect. And when we make this connection between what you're thinking about and dreaming about up here and how your brain runs your body, which is down here in the subconscious part of your brain, when you connect those two, oh my gosh. Now we're talking about a success-driven model. We're talking about a proven practice that will work for you. Listen, I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's God's truth, on research in accredited universities where we've researched this technology that I'm going to share with you today. We have researched this, and the results that we got were outstanding. It blew the people away. They told us if we got like 0.5% of success with this, or maybe 2% success with the control group of people we worked with, if we could get that. And I remember my father going, we're going to get about 90% success. And I remember the PhD just kind of rocking back in the chair going, right. Well, we didn't get 90%, but we got 85%. I think that's pretty damn good. They didn't know what to do with it. chiropractic college. They're like, we don't even know where to put this. We don't know what this is. And I'm like, that's okay. I know what to do with it. And one of the most outstanding things that we learned from the research with B.E.S.T technique, B.E.S.T, B-E-S-T, bioenergetic synchronization technique. Bio, body, energy. We synchronize the energy. It's a technique, B-E-S-T. One thing we learned in this research that we did not expect to reveal or uncover for us was the reduction of stress in the lives of the people that participated with this. Actual stress reduction. And I'm here to talk to you today about the stress that we deal with. Would you be okay if I helped you get rid of some of the stress in your life? Would that be okay?
Yes.
Now, what's his name? So we kind of get rid of we have to eliminate the stress. But you say, well, I can't get rid of the stress. I'm married to that son of a gun. And I'll say, well, that's okay. I'm not suggesting that you get a divorce. I'm suggesting that we shift the way you're responding to the situation. Wouldn't that be an easier pill to swallow? Wouldn't that be a better approach? I think so. It's all in the approach, okay? When you set the approach correctly and in motion, you're going to like the outcome that happens. If you don't, you're going to end up with the same old thing every day, like Groundhog Day. You live it over and over and over again every day. And you will until you get it right. Until you learn the lesson, you'll continue to have these lessons placed before you. How many have experienced something like that? You just keep wondering why it keeps happening over and over and over again. And nobody can explain it. Well, I'm here to explain why that is. You have a pattern that runs up here that you think is true. It was a good example this morning when Eric was talking about your teachability. You thought it was something, but it was really something else, right? For most of you, I would assume. I mean, we've done this for 10 years on stage with people. You think it's one thing, but the truth is it's not. It's something else. And that's generally true with everything that happens in your life. You think it's this, but it's really that. So our job then is to meld the two together. Like in alchemy, you would meld these two steels together. You would meld it into one. So that what you think about, you bring about. This whole thing called the law of attraction, how many are familiar with that? Or about that law of attraction? Okay, what do you think about that? Is it good or bad? Yeah, I kind of go with that. Okay, good, because I've built my whole life around this. I'm glad we're on the same page here. So, but what most people don't understand about the law of attraction, and I'm very familiar with the movie The Secret. I know most of the people that were in that movie personally. I've been on stage with them. I understand it. I get it. I know what this is about. And I can tell you that there was something very important that was left out of that whole scenario. And it was the most important part was you've got to take massive action. But most people didn't do that. Their massive action was living like they were rich, and just the massive action was using your credit card. That was my massive action. I'm going to live like I'm rich, and then all of a sudden you got to pay the bills. So you've got to number one, get a clear, focused idea of what it is that you want to have manifest in your life. You've got to be clear about if you're going to be a master creator, what are you going to create masterfully? This is big. When I saw this topic, I'm like, that's good. I like that. So what about creation? How are you going to create something and manifest something into your physical being? Well, that's the job of the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind. This is our greatest gift up here, the ability to think and judge and reason. But it's our worst curse because we don't use it to our benefit. We use it to read the paper and watch the news and gossip at lunch and judge other people and make poor decisions. That's how we use the brain. So it's no wonder that what filters down into the subconscious part of your brain, which is the controlling brain of your entire body, and that is the part of your brain that generates the signals that go out into the ethers to create the life of your dreams. You didn't know that, did you? It's not here. Everybody say, go like this. It's not here. But we want it to be here because we want to just get more smarter and more bigger and better and faster and stronger and outdo our neighbors. We want to have it all right from here. But it's down in here that's pulling things and drawing things toward you, that's allowing you the success that you want. It's down in here. is not up in here. So we have to use this more efficiently, more effectively, so that it filters down into what happens in the subconscious. Now the subconscious is extremely important. Oh, yes, it's real important. It's real important. He's going to say something really good here. He's going to say something really good here. Don't miss it. And if I act like I'm falling asleep, give me a nudge, because he doesn't want me to fall asleep in class. Okay? So remember, give them a nudge if they're getting one of those. Give them a nudge. So what happens down in here in this part of your brain, and I've taught this all over the world. It doesn't matter if it's in France, Australia, Dubai, Canada, Mexico, or all over this country. It doesn't matter. It's always the same. People are always running the same programs up in here. And the program that you're running in the subconscious mind, which is the most important mind that we have down in here for our body's sake, is not good. It's not good. We all have fears, we have angst, anxiety, and this creates a pattern down here. And we have to shift this pattern, because when you change and shift the pattern unlocks the power. The power for your body to heal, the power for the subconscious mind to radiate out there what it is that you're thinking about in your conscious mind. But you've got to unlock and shift the pattern. That's what we do with bioenergetic synchronization technique. You got a small sample of that this morning with the Morter March. Okay? Y'all did that, right? Pretty cool, wasn't it?
Very cool.
Well, it is real cool. We've been doing that for 20 years. When we developed the Morter March, it was designed in our physical clinical practice. I'm a chiropractor, and it was designed in our practice. I ran one of the largest rehab facilities in the Midwest. Our clinic was 12,000 square feet, had 17 practitioners working for me, chiropractors, medical doctors, physical therapists. I know what I'm talking about. What makes you sick. And I know what it takes to get you back on track. And what it takes is to get this subconscious brain repatterned into something that leads you into abundance. Write that word down, abundance. You spell it abundance. Abundance. Leads you into abundance. How many would like to have some more abundance in your life? That sounds good, but what does it look like? Do you have a specific picture in your mind about what that looks like? And if you are not experiencing that, here's the problem. You're thinking about it up in here, but down here it's tied to a whole different pattern. What? Say that with me. What? How does it mean? It's tied to a different pattern. Well, it's tied to a pattern that's different than what you're thinking about. Or you would have the success in your practice. You would have that alternative medical approach that you're looking to market. You said to market it, right? To market something. Whatever it is that you want to have manifest, it's not your success pattern is not tied to what you've been thinking about. It's tied to what's running this part. And this part runs your whole body. Let me give you an example. How many of you think you're pretty sharp? Go ahead, raise your hand. If you don't think so, just raise your hand anyway. Pretty sharp. If you didn't raise your hand, you're not sharp enough, though. You should have raised your hand. Pretty sharp, okay? So let's just see how sharp you are. I want you to simply, if you're going to be controlling your body, and you think you're pretty sharp, and you should be able to fix everything with this part of your brain, let's have you take your pulse. And see how many times your heart's beating. Pretty simple stuff. Okay? You can do it here on your wrist, or you can do it up on your neck. Okay, so now you're counting the number of beats, right? Okay, so just start counting. Now I'm going to time it. Now, start counting. Doing good. You got some numbers down there. Okay, is that about maybe 8? Maybe so, somewhere in there. Okay, now keep counting, and then I want you to count how many times you blink, too. That's the same, you're counting your heart and you're blinking. Okay? Got it? Pretty good. And swallowing. How many times you swallow, blink, and your heart is beating? Okay? And then what is your blood calcium level right now? You don't know what that is? Do you get my point?
Yes.
This is your conscious thinking brain, and it's not in control of anything. Your subconscious brain runs everything. Thank God for that. You would forget. You forget to blink, and your eyes would dry out. You forget to swallow. It wouldn't be attractive. Your sphincter muscles would let loose. That would be bad. So this is control back in here. This controls everything in your body. And it also has a picture in here about creating your life. It does everything it can to create the life that it has stored for you right down in here. And we do all the things up in here to become a master creator, to study and to learn and to build our foundation, yes. But until we update the subconscious brain, it's like water off a duck's back. Because until you change this, you cannot unlock the power of abundance, the power of success, the power of masterfully creating your life as you want. This is a big deal right here, master creator. I mean, when you get this down this weekend, and I'm very confident Eric's going to do a great job with you to lead you into this ability to masterfully create the life of your dreams. I'm very confident in that. I'm sure that's where he's going to go with this. If I weren't confident in that, I wouldn't be on the stage. If I didn't have confidence in his ability and what he's doing, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't put my name to it. But I can tell you right now that I believe in my heart of hearts you're in the right place. And I believe that you'll make the right decisions about the rest of your life as you move forward with this today. And that's what it's about. I'm not here to tell you to do something or not do something. I'm just here to tell you about how this works with this. And how to shift that, change it. Would that be okay with you if we continue down that path? Okay. So we're talking about changing the way that our subconscious mind is the program. We're changing the program that's running in there. It's just like a computer. It's running the programs. You put them in there, the programs run. And it manifests everything in your life. You don't like the way it's happening? You've got to change the programs. You have to update the programs. Okay? So how do you update the programs to change a program? Well, there's many ways that you experience now. You can, sometimes you can go to church. You can have lots of people pray with you. And that creates an energy pattern that sometimes can shift. So you all know that's true, right? You've seen the power of prayer. You could go, if you're a Catholic, you could go to a church and maybe confess to a priest. Sometimes that helps people. Sometimes seeing a psychiatrist helps people shift the pattern. Sometimes medication can shift a pattern. Not so often, because it creates more patterns that create more challenges. So these are all ways that it could be done indirectly. I'm interested in something that works every time, that you can zero right in on the pattern, identify what it is, and then go in there and fix it. And what I mean by fix it, this is a good concept, an important concept, that you're not broken. We don't have to fix anything. We just have to update the pattern to a different pattern. Because the pattern that you're running was appropriate for that time and space when it happened. For example, if I went to bend over to pick up this table and my back muscles tensed up to pick it up because it's kind of heavy, and they tensed up, and then I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to move that anymore. I'm going to leave that alone, but my back muscles stay tight. That wouldn't be good, would it? But it's a normal response. It's normal. It's a normal pattern. Get this concept. It's a normal pattern if I was doing that. But when I'm not doing this anymore and I'm doing this, walking in the park, the muscles should relax. If they don't relax, the pattern is still running from when I was over here. Does that make sense? The pattern of being not successful is running over here. Because the first time you were not successful in your life, whenever that was, that's the pattern that's been running ever since. Same with you, same with you, same with you, same with you. It's the same pattern running all the time. And the reason that your brain doesn't fix it, it's not wrong. It's just not a good time for it to run now. It's running at the wrong time. And with B.E.S.T technique, we talk about timing problems, how we do something out of time. If your stomach produces acid, is that a normal function?
Yes.
Yeah. You eat a meal, specifically proteins, It goes in the stomach starts churning and producing hydrochloric acid, and that digests the meat. So if the stomach produces acid, it's normal, right? Okay? So if you wake up in the morning and you're on an empty stomach, and your stomach is producing acid, and it's hurting, is that normal? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is the hardest thing people never get. If it was ever normal, it's always normal. It's just not appropriate. It's not appropriate now, but it's normal. That's why the brain doesn't fix it. And you should be going, oh my gosh, that makes sense. I got that. It's normal. It's just not appropriate for this current state. So our brain has us living in past states. It has us living in the traumatic experiences we've had all of our lives growing up. The experience that you're not tall enough, you're not strong enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not blonde enough, you're too blonde. You're too skinny, you're too fat. You're just like your father. He was a drunk, you'll be a drunk. Anybody ever heard any of those kind of things? Or no, you know someone who might have heard those? I'll give you an out. Well, know someone who might have experienced that. Okay? So these patterns set in there. And I'm not new to teach this. Everybody knows this. Wake up, come on, stay with me. So these patterns that run, holy smokes, they keep us in a state of flux all the time. So you're trying to run a pattern that says I'm going to be successful, and your body's running your subconscious mind is running a pattern of no. Because maybe when she was, I'll give you an example. Remember I saw in the news a month ago, some young girl was on a street with a cooler selling water. You might have seen this. It went one of those viral things, It was on the news, in fact, on the Today Show. She was selling water, right? And some hack woman came up with her cell phone and started griping at a complainer and filming it and calling the police because she was selling water on the sidewalk, didn't have a license to sell water, right? Really? It reminds me of a lemonade stand I used to have. I don't think I had a permit from the city to sell lemonade. I learned my first lesson about entrepreneurialism there when Mom took me to the store to buy the candy and the lemonade, and we came back. She said, okay, so how much are you going to sell the candy bar for? And it was a long time ago. It was probably a nickel. We probably bought it for a nickel. I said, I'm going to sell it for a nickel. And she said, no, you're not going to do that because you have to get a profit. I said, but I paid a nickel for it. I'm going to sell it for a nickel. Okay? Same thing's true with this little girl. She was an entrepreneurial spirit. She was happy. She was having a good time. She was selling some water. Who knows what she was going to use the money for, to go buy a doll or to go to a girls' camp in the summertime. I don't have any idea. Maybe save it for college. Who knows with kids these days what they're thinking about. They got lots of fun things. So she was in this creative, giving, loving spirit. She's selling water, and this gal's calling the police on her. It's a bushwhack. So now, every time she equates trying to be successful in her life, the chances are really good that program's going to be running, and she'll move right up to the edge of success and slap it in the face and fail every time. And you wonder why. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, do you understand what I'm saying with it? Okay.
Yes.
She goes, no, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, yes, it does. Go like this, yeah. So you understand what I'm saying, though? That's how these patterns get established in there. That's how when someone says, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, something could have happened to you back then, too. And the beauty of this technique that we use is we can go back and figure out exactly when it was. I can go back and tell you with testing when it happened, the day it happened, who it was with, and what you were thinking about at the time, and what feeling you need to do to correct that so that we can update the pattern so your abundance will move into your life and your back pain will go away. What? Yeah, pretty crazy, isn't it? Well, call me crazy if you want, but I'm crazy all over the world. And people fill up the classes to come hear about this craziness. And I invite you all to play in this craziness too, to learn about this technology, to be part of this, to, if you want to be a practitioner and work with other people, great. If you want to just use it on your family, great. They'll talk to you about it, how you can join our group and come and play. I invite you to play. I invite you to play full on. I've been playing for this for 40 years. And we've been developing this. My father started this. How did he get this information? It came to him from inspiration. He would wake up in the middle of the night and have a dream, a thought, and he would write it down. And then he'd go back to sleep, and the next day he'd go into his practice. He's a chiropractor, and he would put it into play, and it would work every single time. He's like, wow, this is pretty cool. But my father was not he was very scientific. He wasn't a guru. He wasn't a master trainer, instructor kind of person. He had a PhD in science and education. He was very analytical and scientific, so he wanted to prove it. So he wasn't just good enough to say, a guru will tell you, this was given to me, therefore I give it to you, therefore it is truth. That's the way it works, okay? I guess. I'm not a guru. I know some gurus. Enough to know I don't want to be a guru. He took the information, put his wallet behind it to do research, scientific research, to validate what I'm talking about. So that's the difference between the two lines of thinking about how the work comes about. So I challenge you to say, if you're having a challenge in your life and things aren't working out the way they should be, why is that? What patterns could be running? And more importantly, what can I do to fix this? No, you can't fix it because it's not broken. How could I update it to current need? Current need and want is, I want a successful practice. That's what I'm looking for. Because when you're stressed out about this, it takes its toll on you physically. How many agree with that? When you get stressed, stress is the big deal. And I really believe that in the next 10 years, I'm going to reposition B.E.S.T technique as an emotional sensory technique, because that's what it's really about. The more research I do, the more I understand about how the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems work together with the emotional centers of the brain, which are right in here, the amygdala. When all that ties together, even with the enteric system, the nervous system in the gut. You know how when you see something, you get sick to your gut? You say, oh, that makes me feel sick. When you're watching something, there's an intimate connection between here and here. It's called the brain and the gut. In our diplomat program, we're going to talk about that next month, about this whole enteric system and how this works. But for you, what I'm saying is that there's a delicate balance here that we have to dance with, so that you as a practitioner, if you want to learn about this work, and as I said, Eric will talk to you about that, you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a medical doctor or chiropractor. We have medical doctors and chiropractors and dentists and massage therapists and Reiki therapists and energy workers and body workers and counselors and preachers and homemakers and guys that work at the factory that all come and study this work. They may not want to make a living at it and make money at it. There's nothing wrong with that. Not hard to do. But they just want to learn more about how the whole thing works. So I invite you to play in that. If you have any interest in that, I would invite you to talk with Eric and the people that will be back here to help guide you about what your infinite possibilities are there for you. What could unfold for you? What does it feel like to you? What if you unlock this pattern of a creator? What if you were actually able to create things in your life? I know you can. Everyone can. Well, in fact, if you want to know if you can, just look in the mirror. You have created this life. So if you want to know if the law of attraction works, just look in the mirror. It works 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never stops. It's the energy that you're coming from your subconscious mind that radiates out there that attracts the same thing back. That's quantum physics. That's the way it works. What you think about, you bring about. But it's not necessarily true if you're running a program that's different back in here. If your subconscious is tuned to a different thing, what you think about doesn't work. If it worked every time, every 14-year-old boy would be a girl. And that's not a transgender discussion. I'm just saying, you understand what I'm saying? Because every 14-year-old boy thinks about girls all the time. What do you think about Jareen? He'd be a girl. So you have to understand how this all ties together. All right, so you're with me on this. So you have stress, right? You have stress. Does it take a physical toll on you? How does it affect this is not about her. You all need to be thinking about you. When I'm asking her a question, I want you to be thinking about you. How does that affect me? How does that work for me? So how does this stress in your life manifest in your physical body? If you don't mind me asking, and if you don't want to share, you don't have to.
Herniated disc in my lower back.
Oh, just a herniated disc in my low back. Times 4. You haven't got that many more left in the low back. So we need to get this figured out pretty soon, I would think. Okay? So, and how does that affect your life?
Quality of life wasn't so great.
Quality of life, not so great. Can't do the things you'd like to do. You have kids? You have a dog? Got a cat, I'm sorry. I have a cat too, and I hate cats. And Jana reminds me, I don't hate cats, because cats love me. And they're there for me. I'm like, no, I'm just in their way. I'm in their way, on their way to what they're trying to do. And I have all kinds, I love animals. I have all kinds of animals. What here today. Baby doll sheep is the latest thing I got my wife. 2 baby doll sheep. They're only this big. Full grown, they're about this tall. Bella and Guinness. They have little, they're brown and a little white mustache on them. That's a classic for a baby doll sheep. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'll tell you a story how I manifested that in my life. I'll try not to cry. Oh my gosh. You know, somebody was coming to one of our programs, and she sent me a video. She said, look at this. I'm looking at it going, oh my God, those are so cute. 2 weeks later, she's bringing them to me on the plane on Delta. She shipped them in dog carriers on the plane and brought me these sheep. I'm like, why did you do this to me? Smartest thing I ever did. So I find out my wife has been thinking about these sheep all along on her vision board. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? I would have never done in that room or thought anything about it. She put stuff from her vision board on my vision board, and I don't even know it. Tell me this isn't powerful, it won't work for you. I'm telling you it does. I'm telling you it does. I can tell you stories. I'm sure you're going to talk about vision boards and law of attraction and manifestation and, oh man, I wish I was going to be here all weekend. But I got to go home. I got more things to do. More things to do. I got to go. I was in Phoenix last week, in Chicago on Tuesday. So, busy. But I understand how this works. 100%. I get it. I am an example of how it works. I've manifested things in my life you wouldn't even imagine. I manifested a barn on my property. When you come to a training in Arkansas, you'll come see my barn. It's a beautiful barn. Janice said, we need a barn. I said, honey, we live in a barn. I live in a 100-year-old barn that we restored. It's a beautiful home. Added on to it, it's like 5,000 feet. Beautiful. Really nice. Go online on Facebook, you'll see it. She said, we need a barn. I said, we live in a barn. She said, no, I need a barn out back for animals and whatnot. Gentlemen, remember that word. Write that down. Fear the whatnot. Anyway, it wasn't a month later. I started looking around. I forget I only have an hour. A month later, I was looking around for barns. How do I get a barn? I don't know. So I went on eBay and looked around. You know, you can buy an old barn. You can. You got to go to Pennsylvania or Ohio or Michigan, where the big barns were. Hand-hewn barns, Craftsman, you know, Amish. I mean, I'm talking the real deal. And you can buy them, they're about $50,000, $75,000, $80,000. And then you got to go tear it down. And then bring it home, and then rebuild it, and then fix the land up there so it looks pretty, and then do it all over again. I said, Janet, we're no, you can hear me. Around that. You see what that got me? So it pops on eBay. I was looking at it cost me 2 sheep. I'm on eBay, and I was looking for a beam. I wanted to buy a hand-hewn beam. I wanted for a fireplace. So I'm looking on there, and you know how you see this? It says, if you like this, you might like this down here. There was the barn right there. I'm like, oh my God. It was $8,000. And it had already been taken down in a warehouse, on pallets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, nice. I hit that button, but it was buy it now. I hit it 3 times. Paid $24,000. No, I'm just kidding. But see, here's the deal. If I'm gonna show you here in a minute what this is, because I want you to experience it. But if I can get you to understand that if you stop worrying about how and really focus on why you want to do these things in your life, it will happen. You're so focused on how am I going to do it? How am I going to take another class? How am I going to learn enough? How? And when you set that down, what actually happens is you open up the channels of your brain to allow for creative thinking. It's called divergent thinking. When I'm out here in November, my training's in November. It's right after one of your other trainings. I'm going to talk about that too. But when I'm out here, I'm going to talk about the difference between divergent thinking and convergent thinking. You cover that this weekend at all? Good, it's mine. Divergent thinking versus convergent thinking. Divergent opens your life up to possibilities. Divergent thinking means that you should look it up and research and journal about it. Divergent thinking means that there are multiple ways that you could accomplish your task. See, that's where you guys have probably fallen short is you believe there's a certain way it has to be. You're programmed that won't work for you, so you just keep repeating it over and over again, and it doesn't work. But with divergent thinking, you're able to open up to other possibilities that the other person that's saying it might be this way, it might be that way, what about this, what about that? And those of you who are so convergent thinkers go, oh, shut up, you're ruining the meeting, we can't even get anything accomplished, you're out there, you're so far out there, you can't even relate to what we're talking about. When you can harness that divergent thinking and couple it with zeroing in on exactly what it is that you want, and then synchronize this part of your brain to that part of your brain. Hey, this is good stuff, I'm telling you. I hope you're taking notes on it. But when you can do that, go out here and find it, bring it in here to the single purpose that you have, your wildest dream that you're just going to have manifest no matter what, and synchronize the conscious into the subconscious brain, you become unstoppable. That's the way it works. I'm just telling you. That's the way it works. If you didn't get that down, I'm sorry. It only comes around once. It was just coming down, so I spit it out there. But you understand my concept, what I'm saying with that? So how do you get into divergent thinking? Guess what this does? This opens up the channels to allow the brain to listen to your body. See, we have to speak, and I'm going to show you when I get a table up here, we have to speak the language of the subconscious brain. And I can't do it by saying, what's your first name? Gina, you're going to be successful. You can do it. I've got faith in you. Give me a rah, rah, rah. Walk across fire. It's going to be okay. You got this down. That's the sheep thing. That's what the sheep taught me. Maybe true, probably isn't true. Maybe, probably not. So, I can't talk you into it. You have to figure it out and make the decisions that are going to help you lean into your life instead of sitting back in here going, someday I'll do it, someday I'll take that vacation, someday it's going to happen. But we've got to stimulate the subconscious part of your brain. See, my brain right now is going divergent thinking. I've got 5 things I want to tell you about. I'm trying to keep them all wrapped together to make sure I pull it back. But I was talking about Morter March. So when you do this, you stimulate both halves of the brain. I don't know if you talked about it neurologically, what happens when you do this, or you just did it. When you do this, you're stimulating this side of your brain. And when this arm goes up, you're stimulating this side of your brain, and vice versa, and you're overwhelming the subconscious brain, and then you think about a particular thought that's positive, and we put some good information from top down, and we change the pattern. That's what happens on a table. As practitioners, we teach you how to do this work on a table to help people even much deeper levels, so that you can actually experience abundance in your life that you deserve to have. And I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to blow smoke at you and say, you can do this, blah, 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 blah. No. I'm just saying the potential's there. It's inside of all of you to embrace. All you have to do is lean into it. But you won't. You'll suck your thumb and sit around on it and go, you know what? Someday I'm going to do that. Someday I'm going to get that RV. Someday I'm going to buy that boat. Someday I'm going to make enough money to be successful. Someday, when I get successful, I'm going to be happy. That's a big one. I love that one. What? Someday, when I have enough money, I'm going to be happy. Let's do a switch flip on that one. I've learned that personally. I had a man sitting on his Learjet. We were flying from Canada looking right across from me, smoking his cigar, going, Ted, you need to get happy. And I'm thinking, he's got a $35 million jet, and he's drinking XR Crown Royal, and he's smoking a cigar. I didn't smoke cigars, but he's smoking a cigar. And he says, I just need to get happy. I'm thinking, I'm feeling happier already. Give me some of that happiness. So he just had to reprogram. So the Morter March is just the first step of this, of how to change and shift your pattern. It's a pattern interrupt. It's an updater. It's an updater. And it allows then this part of your brain, which controls the subconscious mind, to listen to the position of your body, the joint position, this movement. Do you think that involves the low back muscles? Sure. So the subconscious mind is going, okay, so that muscle should be doing that right now. And if it's not, it instantly corrects it in that position. And when you do this position, it does it on the other side. And it does it every single time. And then we tip your head, which involves the cranial nerves for balance. We're talking about joint position, where it's at. We're talking about then closing one of your eyes. Did you guys close an eye today? Good, good. When you close that eye and then close both eyes, it completely shifts the way your brain is responding to what your body's telling it. If you don't believe me, just tip your head to the side and try to walk a straight line. You're not going to do very good for a while. Or just close one eye and go for a walk. I'll probably fall off the stage. You have to come catch me, my dear. So, these are all important things to update the subconscious. And why do you want to update the subconscious? Because you want to change that pattern to one of abundance and to be able to create a masterful life. To masterfully create the dream that you have. Does that make sense? So that's what that silly thing does. Oh, I didn't know that. Get on mortermarchmonday.com and you can watch the videos. They're all free. I was talking with Eric about that, and he's like, I need to get on that. mortermarchmonday.com. www.mortermarchmonday.com. I do it every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Has anybody been on it with me?
Spell it.
Morter, M-O-R-T-E-R. Morter. That's me. Morter. No, that's A-R.
Yeah, that's what
It's like cement with an E instead of an A. It's Morter, M-O-R-T-E-R, marchmonday.com.
9 a.m. Central?
It's 9 a.m. Central Time. So that'd be 8 a.m. here. Every Monday I'm on there. And it's about 20 minutes to your success. I talk about everything you want to talk about. How to manifest these things and how it works. A little bit of science, a little bit of jokes, having some fun. And then we actually do the Morter March together. There's people all over the world that are doing this with me on that live. It's live. So when you get on live, I can see your name. And I'll give you a shout out. I'll give you a shout out. I'll say, Eric, I see you there. Hey, great, how's it going out there? We got people from Australia, Dubai, South Africa, routinely on the program. On the program. Thank you. England, France, Canada, Mexico, all over the world. Get on the program. Yeah, please go ahead and bring this up here. Yeah. This is what they say. Hurry up, Ed. Perfect. So, thank you very much, gentlemen. Make sure. Okay, so what I'm saying is there are many ways to update the pattern. Who wants to have a pattern update? I've never had a challenge with anybody trying to come up here. Okay, so I want to check one thing because I've been playing with you. Stand up for just a minute. I want to check something. And I want to just see, turn sideways if you would, that way. And I want you just to bend forward and I want to see if you have restriction. What kind of tension you have. Tell me when it starts to hurt. Okay, right about that. Okay? Then straighten back up and then lean back. Okay? Sit back down. I'm looking for worser than that. Who's worser? I'm sure. But I want to make a point. Who's got restriction in your neck and shoulders, maybe? Okay. So, Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's do. If you have stiffness in your neck and shoulder and restriction, yeah, just stand up. Just stand up if you would. I'm just going to do it real quick. How much time do I have? I apologize, I'm going over. Are you sure that's okay? Okay. Now, I have to be respectful, you know. I get verbose sometimes. So while you're standing, if you would please just turn your head this way. Okay, and then turn it back the other way. Okay, go back this way again. Okay, and go back this way. Okay? And if you had pain, raise your hand when you did that. If you had a little bit of pain, when you raise that up. A little bit? Okay, one more time. I want you to look this way. And then the other way. Okay, I want you to come up here. Come up here. So I want to show you. What's your name? Kate. All right? So, Kate, I want you to turn your head this way. Okay? And then I want you to turn your head this way. Do you see? She can't go very far that way. Can you see that? It's tight. When she goes this way, she's got much more movement. Can you guys see that out there? I just tried to pick something that we could show you and demonstrate to you what's going to happen. Now, so, did you have any other challenges with life? I don't remember if you raised your hand when I said you have something that's manifested that's just not working for you. You want it to manifest, but it's not. You want something that's not. You don't even have to tell me what it is. Can you think of something that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not really convinced.
Well, I'm a little
You don't even
confused.
have to tell me. Okay.
Something has really manifested in my life. It's just leaving a lot of gaps.
Okay. Okay. So let's just think about that then.
Okay.
And we can hit that one too. So I want you to hold your arm up here, and I'm going to just push it down very gently. We'll do a simple muscle test. You're going to hold up, hold back. Okay. That's pretty strong. She's pretty stout right there. Okay. Kate? Who's your name?
Yes.
Kate. All right, Kate. So then think about this thing that happened in your life right now that's happening, and let's see how she processes that. Hold us up there. Okay. So that's real weak. Okay. Focus on even more. Focus on what's going on right now. How you feel about all that stuff. Okay, holds up. There's no strength. Okay, that's my little tiny pinky finger. So then think about something you really love, something that's going well. You have a puppy, you have a dog?
I have a garden.
You have a garden? Think about your garden. I love a garden too. Think about your garden. Hold this up there, don't push it out. Hold it up there. Okay? Think about that problem you're having right now. Got it? I mean, seriously, think about the problem. Watch this. Think about the problem. So now, I'm just going to show you how we're going to tie two things together quickly, and how you can, if you're in a practice, how you can work this to help people's lives. Seriously. So I want you to lay down the table, put your head up that way, and just face up, just like that. Thank you. Okay? Okay. So I'm just gonna check a few things. Just give me a second here. All right? So you just relax. I won't hurt you at all. I won't do anything that's gonna hurt you. Okay? I promise. Not much. Okay? Think about that situation. It's bothering you. Okay? Think about the situation. Think about your garden. Okay? Think about the garden. Oh, this is going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay. All right, so now, I'll show you again. Think about the situation and hold this arm up. I'm going to push it down. You're going to push back this way. Okay? You ready? Hold it. Hold. And you're thinking about this situation. Oh, she's trying too. She really wants to be strong. Okay? Hold this up. Don't let it push down. Think of the situation. Keep your hand open like that. Okay? Think of the situation. Hold this up there. Okay? It's very weak. And the more she thinks about it, the weaker it'll get. And I can't talk her into being strong. Kate, the situation's okay. It's perfect. It was meant for you. It's the lesson you need to learn. It's the best thing ever going to happen to you. I promise you, you're going to come out stronger than this in the long run. You're going to make $1 million after this whole thing resolves. And you're going to have 5 kids if you want 5 kids. If you don't want 5 kids, it's all going to be perfect. If you don't want kids, we hate kids. We don't want kids. You're going to be great. It's all going to be okay. Think about that situation. Hold the belly push down. And it doesn't have any effect on her. Because this part of your brain doesn't listen to me talking to you. It listens to what I'm going to do to it right now. That's what it listens to. So give me just a moment here. And I'll teach you how to do this in November. Okay, just relax. Okay, so I want you to think about that situation. Okay? I'm not going to think about her neck. Remember? We're going to think about, we don't care about the neck. I'm going to think about the situation. That's the big stress she has now. We're going to reduce this stress. She's thinking about the situation. Okay? That's it. Okay? So now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just touch some spots on her neck, right back here. And it'll be kind of tender when I push on it. Is it right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never hit the doctor, okay? Make sure you understand each other. Okay, there'll be another spot over here somewhere, probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to touch these two spots together. I'm going to coordinate the left and the right halves of her brain. And I'm going to do some other things. I want you to keep your eyes closed. I want you to take a deep breath in and hold it in. So I'm going to challenge her nervous system and her respiratory system and her visual system. And now I want you to think about the feeling of happiness. Happiness. Okay? Okay, that's what I want you to think about. Happiness. And when I do this, I can actually feel this pulse in my fingers. It's like a heartbeat. And you can all do this. It's not nothing special. That's my wife. I'm pretty special. Okay, we're doing well. We're doing well. Okay? So now the tenderness is gone from there. How about back here? Pretty good, isn't it? Okay? Kind of like that. Wow, neat. So all I did was relax these muscles so they're not tense anymore. I want you to raise your head up like that and back down. Now, watch this. I want you to think, okay, about your garden. Okay? Think about your garden. Hold this up, don't let it push down. And it's strong as a rock. Now I want you to think about that situation that's been bothering you. I'll give her just a second. Think about it. Got it? Ready? Hold this up, don't let it push down. And I mean, it's like a rock. Think about that situation. Come on, give me all you got. I mean, come on. And I'll push it down. Okay? Well, wait, there's more. This is amazing to me. I've been doing this for 40 years. It makes me every single time I do this, I'm like, thank you, getting goosebumps. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. There's no tension in her legs. Her legs are even now. They were not before. This leg was short and tight. Her arms, let me see this arm, make sure it's okay. Think about your garden, hold this. Think about your situation, hold this. And I don't even know what the situation is. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. If she starts telling me about it, I'm going to get all bummed out. Okay? I want you to sit up there, kind of roll over. Like that. Just sit there for a moment. Okay? As a practitioner, when they get up, stay right there with them. Because they're going to be busy. Because when you rebalance this neurological system, holy smokes, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just noticing.
Just sit right there. Yeah. You got that faraway look from up close. Okay? Okay, now step right up here. Okay? Now come with me over here. Come right down here. Now I want you to walk over there, and I want to watch you walk. Okay, turn around, come back. Turn around, go back. She's got good contralateral patterning. She's got good cross crawl. That's why I knew she was going to be a good patient. Come on. There you go. Okay? Perfect. Now, I want to see this. Let's just see what happens. Turn your head this way, and then turn your head back this way. She said, thank you. It feels better. Feels better. I'm telling you, the stresses that you have are tied to your physical complaints. You need to see one of the practitioners out here. All of you do. And if you want to learn how to do it, come learn how to do it. I'm telling you, it will be time, energy, effort, and money well spent. You will like this as you move forward with your life because you can be in charge of your life. As Eric's teaching you this weekend, you can be a master creator of your own life. I just want to thank you guys for having me here. Thank you so much.